Southern Syria is witnessing one of its darkest, bloodiest chapters yet, and the world is barely watching. The peaceful streets of Sweida, a city home to Syria's Druze community, has turned into a battlefield soaked in blood and chaos. For 4 straight days, violence exploded between local Druze people and neighboring Sunni Bedouin tribes. The result? Over 600 people were killed, fighters, civilians, men, women, children, everybody. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights has called it a massacre, with 80 civilians shot dead, execution style by the way, many with bullet wounds to their head. Now let's take a step back. This story isn't just about two groups fighting over land or politics. This is about people desperately searching for missing loved ones, only to find their bodies dumped on the streets, homes looted, families torn apart. In one video, men in civilian clothes are seen kneeling at gunpoints in a public square, then sprayed with bullets by men in a military uniform. One man in that particular video? Well, a US-based Druze visiting his home. Alongside him, his father, his brother, cousins and uncles all were executed. In fact, a young Druze woman living in the UAE tried to keep in touch with her family in Sweida. Bombs were falling, fighters were storming the homes. Her father stepped outside for a moment and never came back. Hours later, they found out that he was dead. Well, that's the level of terror people are living through. The fighting began with kidnapping and revenge attacks. Then came the government forces, supposedly to restore peace, but instead, many witnesses say that they targeted civilians. Shellings, raids, arrests, house burns, families shattered. Well, survivors returning after the ceasefire found their homes in ruins, with blood still on the walls and neighbors dead in the living room. This is not just random chaos. Rights groups are now accusing Syria's Sunni-led government under Ahmad al-Shara of this massacre. Don't you think we have seen this earlier too? Well, that's because something very similar happened after Assad's fall, when Alawites were targeted in the same way. And amid this horror, the silence is defeating. President al-Shara, in a television speech, promised to protect Druze rights and punish the guilty. But on the ground, it's completely different. There are so many people who are still searching for their loved ones. Well, many husbands, wives, they are shot while explaining to the soldiers that they had nothing to do with the fighting. The people were taken to the hospitals, but they couldn't survive. In fact, there is no news, no update, just fear. In fact, a Syrian American man who watched the video of his friend's family executed said that I can't imagine going back and living among these monsters. The Druze community, long torn between loyalty and survival, is now caught in a nightmare. Once hopeful for Assad's fall, many believed that the new government would bring unity and peace. Instead, they are seeing the rise of radical militants in the army uniform, fueled by hate and division. Now let's be clear here, this is not just any civil war. This is a massacre. A massacre that has questioned humanity. The bodies on the street of Sweida tells us a story of organized targeted killing, a brutal warning to all the minority. The world must ask now, how many more videos? How many more mass graves? How many more children must grow up without their parents before Syria's radical mindset ends? This is more than just a ceasefire crisis, it's a humanitarian tragedy, a test of the world's conscience.